Welcome to this episode of Spacecraft Guide, the channel that describes how the most historic spacecraft work. In this issue of Spacecraft Guide, we are going to continue our work on the new panel of the lunar lander, the one down here. We're going to continue our work on the water control module panel, and we are going to do a new valve or switch. This is the secondary evaporation flow switch. When you click on it, it takes you to the secondary evaporation flow valve page. Now you can see that this valve allows for flow of water to the second in a series pressure regulator through flow limiters to the secondary sublimiter and the suit circuits sublimiter through a flow limiter to the primary sublimiter. When it's open, the water is routed through the flow limiter to the secondary sublimiter. If it's closed, the water is stopped from flowing through a flow limiter to the second sublimiter. Well, what that all does is the same thing as the first one. It's basically a backup. So when we go to the schematics, we see that the secondary evaporation flow valve is right here. Here it is closed, and that does not let any water, as you can see, go into this line. Now, when we open this valve up, what that does is the water is now allowed to go to the secondary sublimiter. And as we've seen before in the diagram, that we have the water feed. Now here's the primary. Up here, we have the secondary water flow sublimiter. Now that puts the water into the flow system to get water to all of the components that are generating heat and cool them off in the lunar module cabin. Then, as you can see, it goes through here, through some of the components. These are the ones that contribute a high rate of heat. It comes back down here. It doesn't go through the suit liquid cooling system, but it does come up into the aft equipment bay cold rails and ascent battery cold rails. Now, what this does is it cools the water down, which stays within the system to help cool the important components down to keep the temperature low in the lunar module cabin. That's all for this week. If you would like to use this interactive virtual reality exhibit on the command module, the lunar module, and the surface of the moon, just go to our Patreon page, and the link will be down below.